So today, a little product demonstration of a Ryobi impact gun. Are you ready? Okay, so today I'm going to kind of mess around in the shop. I've been tinkering, putting parts on and that, and I'm kind of getting the spring itch, if you know what I mean. Getting ready to go and all that. So I've always wondered, what would a 275 look like on the front and the back of this car? So I've got a 275 sitting up here. Now it hits the shock or the strut, as I expected it to, but it will bolt on here. So a couple weeks ago, my compressor kind of went on the fritz. Well, kind of like it blew up, basically. I was trying to get some drive shaft bolts out using an air-driven impact based off my compressor. The compressor stopped working, blew the circuit. I flipped the circuit back on. It shot sparks, and I went, oh, I might need to do something different. So I've been wanting to get a impact gun, and the reason I chose a Ryobi was because we use a lot of Ryobi stuff here on the farm itself. So I've got a ton of these batteries. I've got a bunch of chargers. So it did make a lot of sense to me to actually go get a different brand and have an extra battery and extra charge and all that stuff to keep up with when I could just use the Super Center we've got and all that other stuff. So today I'm going to put this on. So the Ryobi itself is pretty standard on the features, I'm going to say. It's got 3 speeds. It's got a low speed of 0 to 2,000 RPM, a number 2 speed from 0 to 2,400, and a number 3 from 0 to 2,900. Goes up to 300 Newton meters on torque, and really it's great for taking bolts loose and then just doing kind of an initial snug and then doing a torque wrench on the back. So here I've got the tire, I've already got the 4 lug nuts on, so I'll just put it on the torque setting. And on. That's a good snug down. Good there. Good there. All right. So once you've got those on, you don't have to overdrive and kill them. Hit them with the initial snug. Be great for taking them on and off if you need to. And then once you're finally down, you can set it on the ground and torque it down. So a 275 on the front of a Foxbody is pretty awesome, but it's going to hit everything. So if I try to rotate this, you can hear it squealing. And it's going to hit to that point where it's going to hit the wheel weights on the inside, the stick-ons. So it hits everything. So let's move to the back, and I'll get you pictures before and after. So I'm going to put a 275 on the front and on the rear just for fun today. So on the back itself, this has already been torqued on, and it's in gear, so it's not going to roll at least, and the parker brake's on because I was taking the drive shaft off. But right now, it's not connected to the transmission, so the only thing holding this really is the park brake, and it's not even holding it that well. So the great thing about an impact, you can just use it to take the bolts off. So I've got it in reverse. Now the Ryobi itself, it's got 3 LEDs that once you hit the trigger, they're going to stay on for a certain time and to help you guide it in, which is pretty cool. All right, so sometimes even 300 Newton meters on an impact gun is not going to be enough. These wheels and tires, I couldn't even tell you the last time they were on. These are pretty fresh tires, so you'd think it'd be relatively soon enough, but these things are rust locked. So sometimes you just need to break out the big old leverage bar, I guess. So just using that, holding my hand here, just using some jerking motion. There, actually got these off. So last lug nut taken off. Set that aside. Now the cool thing is you can see those LEDs are still on. So if you're still working, you can still use it as light, especially if you're under a dark car in that. So I'm going to take off this little skinny fun thing. These are going to become drift tires probably. And I'm going to go get the 275. All right, so with the 275 on, got 1 lug nut to go. So here's a pop quiz for you. See how you know your history. This car does not have quad shocks. It's an 80 model. I want to know if you watching at home actually know what year do they invent? Probably just add the quad shocks to the Foxbodies. If you know the answer, put it in the comments. I want to see who actually knows their Foxbody history on this. So I got the last one down. Good. Now, if you're going to do these with the impact, I always say hand start them first. Just give a few threads. That way, you know, they're not going to bind and cross thread. Because the impact doesn't know any difference. It's meant to just drive and drive and drive. So with this thing tightened on, there's your 275 on the back. So looking at here, ooh, that thing's going to rub. So I might have to roll them fenders this year before I get this all done. So this is going to have some lowering springs on it, some Eibach lowering springs that I got off the 92. I'll actually have an 8.8, which is sitting right here. That'll go on, and a lot of other stuff as the drivetrain goes in. But I think I'm going to have to fix this here before I decide what I'm going to do long term. If I'm going wide body, Capri, or just flat, just leave it alone and drive the heck out of it. So basically on the Ryobi itself, pretty cool used little tool. I love the color of it. It's easy to see, not to lose. I got to do that kind of stuff. So good tool. It's about $100. I'll drop you a link down below where I got it. I got it at Home Depot, but if you want to shop online, I'll get you a link where you can order it and have it delivered to your door. So that's all from this time. If you need one, go pick you up a battery impact gun. Actually, it will come in very handy compared to a compressor and cord and all the other stuff. So I'm finally getting mine. That's all for this time. We will see you next time.